Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good morning and good day. Ladies and gentlemen, our world is increasingly being defined by conflict, climate change threats, extremism and inequality. On a daily basis, we are witnessing the dangers and the uncertainties of our time. Our world is also running out of clean, fresh water to feed, nourish a growing global population and ensure sustainable development while maintaining the health of our planet. We are living in an era of unprecedented population growth. Since the middle of the 20th century, the world's population has tripled, reaching 8 billion people this year. Projections by the United Nations suggest that the global population could grow to nearly 11 billion by 2100. The unprecedented growth of the global population has occurred since the 1950s is the result of two trends. On the one hand, the gradual increase in average human longevity due to widespread improvement in public health, nutrition, personal hygiene and medicine. And on the other hand, the persistence of high levels of fertility in many countries. A path towards a more sustainable future requires demographic foresight, which involve anticipating the nature and consequences of significant population shifts before and while they occur, and adopting forward-looking and proactive planning guided by such analysis. There is consensus, however, that there is not enough water as currently managed to adequately sustain the world's population and end hunger and malnutrition. 8 of the 9 countries still have less than 50% coverage of at least basic drinking water services in sub-Saharan Africa alone. 122 million drink surface water. 771 million people still lack even basic drinking water service, with half of the number living again in sub-Saharan Africa. Globally, women and girls spend 200 million hours per day collecting water. This is equivalent to 200 million hours, representing 8.3 million days, or over 22,800 years, a colossal waste of time, and also unrecognized, unpaid work. Ladies and gentlemen, I have painted a bleak but realistic picture of the state of water in the world, but this resonates with the arid regions and many parts of my continent, Africa. Yet, as leaders and scientists, we have a shared responsibility to build a more secure world by promoting peace, justice, and development, even as climate change is posing a threat to global security through displaced water and rain cycles. Water is unfortunately being viewed through a sensitive lens of that catalyst, which will increase attention, leading to more conflicts and poverty as competition increases for this precious resource. Water, ladies and gentlemen, we know is the connector. Water is life, and both the lack of it or too much of it presents threats to livelihoods. Recent examples of the construction of dams and sharing of river waters in some parts of the world bear ample testimony to this. The World Economic Forum, in its Global Risk Report, has identified water as one of the main challenges worldwide, as water-related disasters account for 90% of all natural disasters on our planet. Then we have droughts, which are silent killers and equally devastating, causing social structures to collapse and triggering an exodus of refugees. Where droughts strike, hunger and deprivation usually follow, and poor people are hit hardest. Moreover, droughts upset the social balance in the regions where they occur. UN Food and Agriculture Organization estimates that between 2,000 and 5,000 liters of water are needed to produce a person's daily food intake. And if you do the calculation, it's 1 liter of water for each calorie. Ladies and gentlemen, population growth Poverty, land shortage, and urbanization. All these challenges are interwoven because they all relate to water. Quality of water infrastructure for flood defense, drainage, and water storage become increasingly important, especially in developing countries where over 70% of the world's population reside. The arid regions are no stranger to these scenarios, and they cover around 41% of the Earth's surface and sustain the livelihoods of nearly 1 billion people. Drought-affected people, especially those living in Africa, live on the margins of resilience and are impacted more than any other continent, especially as Africa and much of the developing world farmers continue to rely on rain-fed agriculture, making them vulnerable to our fickle climate. In a study published after the COP 2022, the World Bank estimated that climate change and related water issues can push 100 million more people deeper into poverty every year. Ladies and gentlemen, with the pressure on water rising, there is an urgent call for action, but achieving SDG 6 or the water SDG or any of the SDGs for that matter will require governments, societies, and the private sector to change the way they use and manage water. Water and sanitation are necessary for human dignity and economic growth, and water connects public health, food security, livable cities, energy for all, environmental well-being, and climate action. Yet, as the SDGs make clear, the world needs to transform the way it manages its water resources, as well as improve water and sanitation-related services for billions of people. Still, there are gaps in access to water supply and sanitation. Growing populations, more water-intensive patterns of growth, increasing rainfall variability, and pollution are combining in many places to make water one of the greatest risks to poverty eradication and sustainable development. With increasing recognition that floods and droughts impose huge social and economic costs around the world, climate variability will make water-related extremes worse. If the world continues on its current path, projections suggest that the world may face a 40% shortfall in water availability by 2030, which is tomorrow. The consequences of such stresses will be local, transboundary, and global in today's interconnected world. Addressing these issues poses one of the greatest challenges facing our world. Ladies and gentlemen, many of these challenges are captured in the SDGs. SDG 6, or the water SDG, calls for progress around water supply, sanitation, water quality, water efficiency and scarcity, integrated water resources management, water and the environment, increased international cooperation, and the involvement of communities in the management of water and sanitation. Water is the common resource which links nearly every SDGs, and it will be a critical determinant of success in achieving most of the SDGs. There is thus a pressing call for integrated action to build more resilient societies and economies, including reducing disaster risk in the face of growing climate variability. There is also a consistent call for a spotlight on achieving universal access to safe drinking water and sanitation services, on nurturing water and the environment, and on investing in sustainable water infrastructure. There is thus a call for promoting strengthened collective governance of water, driving a water data revolution, and recognizing the unique social and economic environmental value of the water that we have and that we need for our survival. Ladies and gentlemen, initiatives can range from mobilizing financial means by encouraging multilateral development banks to mobilize financial resources and to consider new ways and means to improve efficiency in terms of access and disbursement, to helping the international community advance internationally agreed targets on water-related disaster risk reduction, to establishing a water innovation engine. Initiatives such as the World Water Data Initiative to improve access to water data, improving water use efficiency for resilient economies by encouraging and including new technologies and policy reforms, and building a global consensus and common language to guide better approaches to valuing water across three critical dimensions: social and cultural, environmental, and economic, so as to encourage coordination and investment in water innovation. These initiatives must be accompanied by engagement to motivate action to implement the water-related goals and targets of the 2030 Agenda. The International Decade 2018 to 2028 for Action, Water for Sustainable Development, will be especially useful, helpful as well as a platform for discussion among countries on their major challenges and generating solutions that are pro-people, pro-economy, and pro-environment. The world is facing and will continue to face many challenges, but water and sanitation will always occupy the top rungs of the ladder. We need to start prioritizing water and sanitation for all, as the many values it has to society are immense, and we have a lot to lose. We urge every leader, every CEO, every scientist, every student to get involved, because we all need to stand ready to support, collaborate, and share our experiences. We need to act now and contribute to meeting this great challenge of ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Current and future generations will be thankful for our concerted actions that need to be taken today to achieve a water-secure future for all. Here I acknowledge the leadership of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in promoting the Prince Sultan bin Abdulaziz International Prize for Water since 2002. This scientific prize brings to the fore the scientific innovations that can help promote access to contaminant-free water. And here I wish to congratulate the 2022 winners. I thank you all for your leadership and vision to keep this conference and this initiative going so as to address a very vital issue, which is access to water, because we know that water is life. I thank you for your attention, and I wish you a great conference.